Updates coming in from Tata Trusts, and Sujit joined us in the studio for all of that. Sujit, over to you.
That's right. There's a Tata Trust board meeting which is underway in Mumbai, and there's a release which has come from the Tata Trust saying that on 12th they have received an email from N. Chandrasekaran, which basically conveyed that he doesn't want to be reappointed as the chairman of Tata Sons once the tenure gets over in February 2027. The other thing which is important here is to note that Dorabji Tata Trust, has given a statement saying that they respect Chandrasekaran's decision not to offer himself for reappointment, and it places on record deepest appreciation for his contribution and stewardship of Tata Sons and Tata Group over the past decade. It also, talks about the contribution that he has made and the significant change, growth, and transformation across the group. It also has passed a resolution today to initiate setting up of a selection committee as soon as possible in accordance with the Articles of Association of Tata Sons for the purpose of recommending a person for appointment as the new chairman of the board of directors. It is. The trust is also saying that they extend full support to Tata Sons in ensuring smooth, timely, and orderly transition of leadership, consistent with the values and long-term interests of Tata Sons and the Tata Group. So basically, the trust basically accepting the letter, or basically the letter which has been sent across sent across by Tata by N. Chandrasekaran. Saying that he doesn't want to be reappointed as chairman, and is starting the process of creation of a selection committee. Mostly what we have seen in the past as well, the selection committee comprises of 3-4 people, which will be internal and some of the external experts, and they would be looking at all the candidates before that selection happens. So it basically puts to lay anything whether if there was any question which with respect to the point that with the trust accept this or not. It seems that the trust has accepted this letter of N. Chandrasekaran. We have now joining us Nirmala Kumar, who is the author and professor and a former former executive of the executive committee, former official of the chief executive committee of the Tata Sons. Mr. Kumar, how do you look at Tata Trust statement, which is there? Basically, they're accepting what N. Chandrasekaran is saying, that he needs to be, and his decision has been respected, and now the trust is going to move ahead for appointment of a new chairman for Tata Sons.
So I'm not sure what else they could do. I mean, to tell you the truth, it's not like Chandra resigned. In a sense, we can call it a resignation, but he resigned because he had little other choice. The day Noel Tata was appointed as chairman of Tata Trust, his days were numbered. It was just a question of when he would exit, not if. And so this was the logical conclusion of his tenure at Tata Sons. So I'm not really sure he quit or he resigned. Of course, he resigned at some level technically, but, he was forced out.
Mr. Kumar, also, can you give us a sense of normally the selection process that is undertaken when the chairman of such a big group is, selected? You've been part of the Tata Sons. What is the kind of process that normally they follow?
So listen, there are two processes. One is the process which you're supposed to follow. The process you're supposed to follow is that generally there is a very high-powered committee, what you call constituted, who will then select from candidates, both internal and do a global search worldwide to, find the right person to become the chairman of Tata Sons. Because to be the chairman of Tata Sons is quite a challenging thing to do because you are in so many different sectors. So you need a person who has some knowledge or some familiarity with the different sectors, or at least an ability to learn quickly the different sectors, because the main job of Tata Sons is really maintain the culture, champion group-wide initiatives, but most importantly, reorient the portfolio for the future. And to tell you the truth, in selecting N. Chandra, what you have found is what is the problem when you don't follow that process clearly, because they didn't follow that process in hiring him, and because it was really done, when at the time when Cyrus Mistry was unceremoniously sacked by Ratan Tata, and so then it was Ratan Tata's decision who to bring in. And at that time, since TCS was the number one cash flow generator for Tata Sons, they brought in Chandra. But the problem with Chandra was very straightforward, that he was a fantastic operator, executioner of a known business model, TCS, which had been perfected by the time he reached there. But what Tata Sons needed was somebody who would manage the transition to new business models and new industries, which is where he failed, because all the new things that he started under his thing, Tata Digital, Tata Electronics, and Air India acquisition, Big Basket acquisition, are all bleeding money. And in the last year, the losses at Air India are the highest ever, the losses at Tata Electronics are the highest ever, and the losses at Tata Digital are also the highest ever. So things are going in the wrong direction, because, yes, Chandra had great ability to manage a known business model, but his ability to go venture into new business areas was very limited. And they need to now find somebody who can do that, especially now that the main cash flow of Tata Sons, which was TCS, is facing itself disruption. So they need to find also a new business model. So we need somebody who's an explorer rather than an exploitation expert, and who can look at these new areas and decide how do we find the new business models, and which of the new business models we pursue and which we abandon.
Mr. Kumar, just hang in there. We have Abhizar Diwanji also joining us from Neostruts. Abhizar, how do you look at this entire process? Do you see now kind of a process which is much more coordinated in the way the next chairman of Tata Sons is going to be appointed?
I don't know what is more coordinated than before, very frankly. I think at that time they had Chandra, whom there was a lot of trust of the past chairman of Tata Trusts, and hence he was appointed. I think there are goods and bads. One can look back and say what could have been done better, what had happened. Clearly, the Tata Group has had issues in terms of a few businesses. They do face an existential issue on the TCS cash flow bit, which was kind of fueling a group. If you look at every other group, it has one big cash cow and then a lot of ventures that get funded out of that cash cow. For Tata's, that cash cow was TCS, which is kind of dwindling. They need to figure out how they fund their capital-intensive businesses going forward. And I think what you really need is a good stewardship in terms of the Tata Sons chairmanship, because that person really needs to work well with the respective CEOs of businesses and give them the empowerment, give them the capital, and get them to perform basis an agreed plan. So I think we really need somebody who's a consensus builder. We need somebody who is a steward, who will try and steer an organization to something. And that, I think, there are enough in the market. Large conglomerates have been surviving like that. We have the Adani Group, we have the Reliance Group. They are excellent stewardships. They know how to pull out cash from one part and invest in investing businesses and grow it. And that's how every other corporate, including the Tatas, need to do.
As Mr. Kumar was stating, there are certain new businesses that Tata Sons have entered into, and they are bleeding at this point in time. Do you think that there has to be a gestation period for all these new businesses which they're trying to scale up at this point, and so initially there will be a pain which is there?
No, of course there will be, and there has been pain. Maybe the pain has got prolonged, and they continuously seem to be having issues. For example, Air India. Yes, there needs to be a good strategy going forward. A lot of trusted effort. It's not that the airline industry is not doing well. For example, we have Indigo, which is doing pretty well, has a 66% market share. Air India has the ability to do that. It is effectively a national carrier even now. So in that sense, I think the ability to turn that organization around is there. Somebody needs to put that effort on it. I'm not saying that the earlier chairman did not do it. Maybe he needs a better execution team to do it, but that will happen with time. The only thing is that there needs to be much more of focus on turning these things around. Unfortunately for the Tata Group, the focus has been at the political level, either at the Tata Trust level or at the Tata Sons level. And I hope they defocus from the politics of it and focus on the business growth of it.
Sriram Subramanian joining us, founder and MD of InGovern. Sriram, what's your take? There's a selection committee which will be put in place for the selection of the next chairman. And according to you, and what you've seen over the years, what would be the process for this, and will that have any bearing on any of the listed companies?
Good afternoon. I hope the board or the selection committee quickly zeroes in on the candidate. If anything, a good succession plan would mean that they already should have a potential list of successors to take over from Chandra, and only one of those potential candidates should ideally be considered. So because Chandra has only about 6 months now till February 2027, I think it is best the selection committee zeroes in on the candidate quite quickly, and then there is an overlap period of at least 3 to 6 months. That would mean that there is smooth transition from the current chairman to the new. Regarding your question on whether it will have any bearing on the listed companies, I don't think there will be any bearing on the current listed companies, because each of the listed companies have their own boards, have strong management teams, etc. If any of the current MDs or current candidates of any of these listed companies takes over the role as chairman of Tata Sons, obviously there needs to be a replacement candidate for that. But I don't think there will be any impact on the investors or shareholders of listed companies need to worry about their, I would say, companies.
We also have joining us senior counsel at Supreme Court, Sanjay Hegde. Sanjay, do you see what the statement says that it's as per the article of association of Tata Sons, the appointment will be made. Do you see any challenges here, given the fact that some of the trusts are still in some litigation, or you have the charities commissioner preventing them from taking decisions at any AGM?
Even if there are a litigation, I think everybody will be on board with the need to find a successor soon and not to impede a speedy and orderly succession. The appointment of a chairman or the support of any chairman that the company the board decides on is subject to shareholder approval. Giving approval later should not be a problem, as long as the process is open, transparent, and there is no objection by all. Today, Mr. Chandrasekaran has put in his papers saying that one trustee of one trust objected to his continuance or a fresh term. So largely, there will have to be unanimity. And I do think that all the trusts who are investors in the company do understand the need for unanimity and consensus.
Mr. Hegde, thank you for that perspective. We will thank Abizar as well, and Mr. Professor Kumar and Sriram as well today. Thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen, and giving your perspective on this statement which is coming out from Tata Trust. Meanwhile, my colleague Anurag Joshi is tracking that board meeting of Tata Trust in Mumbai. Anurag, what is happening there, and what else is coming in from that board meeting?
The trustees of Sir Dorabji Tata Trust met today and they've passed a significant resolution, and this resolution is to initiate the process to find Chandra's successor. The plan is that they have initiated the setting up of a selection committee that will work on appointing the successor to N. Chandrasekaran. N. Chandrasekaran announced yesterday that he's not seeking reappointment when his current term ends in February 2027. So this panel will be very important because it will recommend the person who will be appointed as the new chairman. Now, only Sir Dorabji Tata Trusts has met at the headquarters of the Tata Trusts at Kaf Parid today, and Sir Ratan Tata Trust could not hold meetings since it's been barred in May from holding any board meetings or taking any important decision pending an investigation from the charity commissioner. And in terms of the probable candidates right now who could succeed Chandra, it is still early days, but internally, if we see, there is plenty of talent. I mean, if you see, you have Tata Steel's Narendran, you have Praveer Sinha, who is the MD of Tata Power, and also the CFO of Tata Sons, Saurabh Agarwal. But also, if we see externally, looking for an outside candidate, in the current environment, that would be a bit difficult because given the fact that most of the Indian businesses, conglomerates today of Tata's size are family run and they are owned by families. So to narrow down on a candidate who has a rich experience in running a diverse corporate group, that would be tricky. So there are possibilities that the selection committee may interview people internally.
Thank you, Anurag, for that update, and keep us posted what else is happening at the Tata Trust board meet. That was Anurag Joshi giving us a update on the Tata Trust board meeting happening in Mumbai. We have only this much time in this show. We'll go into a break and we'll come back with more after the break.